Hello, my dear friend. Hello, and welcome back. This is Mira Kelly, and today I want to share with you an interview that I did with Shirley Lohmaier a couple of weeks ago. I loved this interview. We spoke about purpose and money and soul aligned business. And I was so excited for the topic that you will hear my enthusiasm from the get go. I jumped in. I was so thrilled to give value and to contribute to the listeners. Everything I was able to pack in because I've spent all these years figuring out how to be on purpose, how to make money through my soul aligned business, and I wanted to contribute all this value. And Shirley was incredibly gracious to let me share this interview we did with you. All the information on Shirley, so you can connect with her, is in the notes, so you can find her a link and connect with her. And also, you will love her spirit throughout the interview. So I wanted to give you this brief introduction because what follows next is her introducing me for a few moments and then us diving into the interview. I wanted you to know what comes and what follows. I love you. I hope you really enjoy this.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Soul Aligned Leader, the masterclass series on thriving as an awakened soul aligned leader, alchemizing your purpose, and embodying your gifts through your unique soul business. I'm your host, Shirley Lohmaier, and today we have Mira Kelly joining us. Mira is a consciousness architect, international speaker, best-selling author, and a past life regressionist. It's fantastic to have you here today, Mira. I've really been looking forward to our conversation. Thank you for joining me.
Hello. I'm so happy to be together, and I'm beyond excited for us to talk about purpose, as it's something that is really on everybody's mind and something that I had to figure out for myself. So I have a lot to share, a lot to teach, and I'm excited.
Yay, that's awesome. Fantastic. Good. So maybe we can just start a little bit of your story. I always love to start with story, and people can feel your journey, and maybe a key moment, a pivotal moment, or something that really led you into your purpose.
Most definitely. Growing up, I did what was asked of me, right? My parents did their best to guide me through what they knew will create a good life for myself, for me. So I just followed the path that was carved out for me. I went to law school. I became a lawyer. I worked in a prestigious law firm in a very prestigious field. And all of that was being done while I was aware that, yes, I'm good at it. Yes, I can execute it and do what is asked of me, but my heart was not in it. And so it was the process of me developing a very painful physical condition that got me to look into what else is out there, what else is available, what else is possible, because I was told that I will have to live with excruciating chronic pain for the rest of my life. And nobody wants to hear that in their 20s, right? Nobody wants to be like, oh, yeah, no problem. And so that led me on a path where one thing led to another. And eventually I did a past life regression, which just with a couple of sessions allowed me to heal my physical pain. A lesson emerged from that past life experience, a lot of cathartic emotions. And just like that, the next morning, the pain was gone. And so what that opened up for me is anybody who has gone through a very traumatic physical ailment, illness, healing condition, right? All of a sudden the questions are bigger, the stage is bigger. And so there I was aware that the spiritual world was calling me. And at the same time, I had to very much figure out, well, but how do I pay the rent? How do I pay my student loans being a healer? How do I put money on food on the table, right? Like, where is the money going to come from? And in my head, obviously, I was seeing I was seeing the security and the safety of the job, and I was not realizing at that time that I'm the one who creates the security and the safety, not the job. And this is something that I had to turn in my head and really create a new belief, a new opportunity of seeing things, and so that I can create the opportunities in terms of work and success to come my way. And so I believe that this is a very relevant thing for us to be talking about in this market, in this environment, because the craving, the calling of my soul is calling me for more is very real for each and every one of us. Because here's the thing, ever since I had to figure out that for myself, every client I work with, whether it's coaching, whether it's past life regression, the question is always the same. What is my purpose? I feel that I'm here for something that will leave a legacy behind, something that will serve, but also fulfill me, right? Give to others, but also fill up my cup. And what is it? And so this question never dies, no matter what's happening with the stock market, no matter what's happening with the economy, no matter what's happening on the outside world. And I had to face that question for myself at a time when the financial crisis of 2008 was happening, right? Every day I will go to work. So at that point, I had already experienced the physical healing. At that point, I had already been very clear on the fact that the spiritual teachings and world was calling me in such a big way. And so I had to figure out, well, but how can I make it work? And I was asking these questions as every day I would go to work and I would receive news. You know, the news will come up of all these sectors being laid off.
Changed.
And so I guess, the world was really changing back then, as it is right now. And so I one day I remember sitting and asking myself, well, what if I lose my job as an attorney? What would I do? And the very unlikely answer that came up is, well, I'll do past life regressions. And so from there on, I had to be like, oh my God, well, now what do I do with this, right? What do I do with this revelation? And I had to find that safety and security within myself. I had to redefine an identity of, am I good enough? Can I do this? And so that was the next lesson, actually. Am I good enough? We all are, whatever the calling is. That's why it seems so easy, and that's why it seems so unlikely, because that's the calling for us to go for it, for us to really trust. And yet here was something that I learned. I learned that, yes, I understand what the next step in my personal growth is. I understand that I'm to let go of being an attorney and step into doing the past life regression work. And yeah, but am I good enough, right? Am I good enough? And that's something that we all ask. And it wouldn't be a real calling if it's not easy, because I was dismissing it. I was saying it's too easy. It should be harder. I should work harder for it, because that's what I did
as an attorney
to become a lawyer. I worked harder. And so that question of, do I know enough? Because you have no idea how many people I work with who are aspiring coaches, people who are in a certain profession, have gone through a life transformation much like mine, and then they come to me and they say, well, help me build the practice, help me build the business, help me trust myself. And one of the challenges that comes up for people is, well, but I need another certification. I don't know enough. Let me learn from somebody else. Let me acquire another tool. And it's never about the tool. It's never about the competency. It's never, because here's the thing. When people come and work with us as healers, as whomever it is, we never say, well, show me your degrees. Show me, even as an attorney, nobody ever asked me, where did you go to school? It was, can you do this for me? I feel aligned with you. I know you can help me. And so same with us healers. Another certification will not make the difference. What will make the difference is our own trust in our own value. What we have to offer is valuable. And of course it is. It always is. People
Absolutely.
are magnetized and attracted to us because we have exactly what they need to unlock and open up the next level of growth and development for them. And so I had to trust that. I had to really believe that. And at first I was seeing my adventure and my experience being all about past life regression. I believe the process is what was healing people.
Mhm.
And it took me quite some time. Once I was doing this full time, once I was able to impact thousands of people, once my schedule was beyond booked up with people, it took me quite some time to actually realize that it's me who is healing people. Yes, the process, but it's how I guide the process. It's what I do with the process. It's my magic, right? When people buy crystals, I love crystals. My house is filled with crystals. People think that it's the crystal that gets to do the work for them, but the crystal is just the permission slip that allows them to become the master crystal.
Yeah.
So same with the
Beautiful.
vocation. And past life regression at first was my version of the crystal, right? I was using it as a tool to heal until one day I realized, wait a minute, it's me who guides people. It's my energy, my understanding, my perception, my gifts, my talents. So the reason why I'm sharing all of this is to tell our listeners, oh gosh, trust yourself, trust yourself. We need your magic. We need your perception of the world. We need your skills, your intuitive abilities, whatever clicks in your brain, that we need you.
Absolutely.
And so my dream is that as the world is changing, more and more of us will jump on this train of being our truest self. And I know that that's really collectively where we're going, as on a soul level. And technology is going to keep allowing for more of that and more of that. So I'm here
Absolutely.
to be everybody's cheerleader and to be like, oh yes, please, you can do it. If I did it, you can do it too.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing the story like that. It's so awesome because I know that so many people listening will have been through exactly, or in that building that bridge, right? It's that bridge between having been in a job or in a corporate environment where, to all intents and purposes, you're not standing in full alignment because you're looking outside of yourself for your abundance at some level. And that's okay. It's not that you don't have the skills, and it's not that it's part of the journey. But I think when soul calls you to purpose, part of that journey is full alignment with me as the money maker, me as the magic maker, right? It's those two things that you're kind of linking together, which is so beautiful.
I love how you said it. Me as the money maker and me as the magic maker. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's really interesting for me in your story is that, you're saying that it took doing thousands of past life regression sessions to actually for you to land with the fact that I'm the one creating that magic. And I think what people do is they're always looking for that other course, or they're always looking for something instead of just going through the experience of using what they have and using the intuitive gifts they have already and kind of honing their gifts in that way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And it's all there. And it doesn't mean that I'm not continuing to grow and to learn and to study, but that is for the fun of it. That is for the mental, personal fulfillment, satisfaction, adventure of it, right? The growth, the study, the consumption of what other people have figured out is because it's fun. I'm not doing it so that I become more and enough, right? Is that making sense?
Yes.
I'm not doing it because I feel insecure. And that's my goal for people as well, to trust what you've got and to begin offering it. And there will be always the more, the becoming of more, the perfecting of more.
Yeah, so it becomes a place of abundance and overflow instead of this place of scarcity and almost like you're looking for something. Yeah,
Well
for sure.
said. Well said.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. So somebody who might be standing on the cusp of that at the moment. So imagine that they have a sense of what their soul purpose is. I think you kind of get a guidance towards it, and they're now sort of wanting to step off that cliff. What are some of the things that could help them to develop that trust or build that trust and align better?
What a good question. So one of the most important things I can share is if you're feeling a desire for a specific path of growth, that means that the path is laid out, that it's possible, that it is available. And the only thing you need to convince yourself of is that it will work out. And I remember how I had to focus and work on it, because there I was excelling in my job as a corporate attorney. However, I didn't know anybody who was a spiritual coach and an influencer. I didn't know anybody, right? That whole world was so far and so removed. It was literally like starting from zero, but not even
Absolutely.
knowing where to
Yeah.
start. And so I had to very heavily lean into the space of trust, because faith and trust is really you saying this already exists, the parallel reality where that is available, where a version of me is living that life. It exists. If I can imagine it, it exists, because I'm not even imagining it. I'm just tuning into another potential, into another possibility that exists into the mind of God, into the quantum field. So what I'm tuning in is not me using some incredibly creative skill to imagine. So it's not there. I have to build it. No, it already exists. And so the way we align with that is by simply trusting and having faith and living as, right? And so one of the things I had to realize for myself is that when I'm in fear that it's not possible, that it's not available, I'm using all of my creative power to put it into it's not possible, and it's not available, and it's not real. And it's the same creative power that I also put into it's available, and it's here, and it's now, and I can feel safe, and I can allow it, and I can do the little bit that I can do and just keep going, because it's going to collapse that way anyway into my experience. And so it was really recognizing that I get to choose where I put my creative power. And that's really all I had to do. The rest was so little. The rest was just visualizing and feeling and connecting and feeling good, and then enjoying my life, which was, a very it was what it was, right? There was only so much I could do. And whenever I got creative ideas of, oh, do this, oh, do that, I just went ahead and I did it, right? In other words, the little bit that came as guidance that seemed possible and available, I took action on it. And I just kept enjoying my life, kept living my life, kept dealing with it on a daily basis. And then I kept putting my faith into, but it's possible and it's available, and it'll take as much time as it needs to take. I don't need to worry about it. That time I cannot hurry. I don't understand, but the bit I can do, I'm doing it right now. And lo and behold, sure enough, it worked out, and it worked out in better ways than I was possibly imagining. And it always works that way, doesn't it? It always works that way. So if those who are listening noticed, I really spoke of 3 components if you actually want to take note. Live your life, live it to the best of your abilities, keep doing whatever you're doing, make the pleasure and the enjoyment of it the most you can make it, keep visualizing, keep loving, keep trusting into what is possible. And whenever fears come up, come back to the trust of no, I'm not putting my faith into what I don't want. I'm putting my faith into what I want. And wow, then life became even more amazing than I even thought possible. So these are 3 incredibly important ingredients. Seems simple, but it's supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be easy, because think about it. Creation happens automatically. What we're really trying to do here with my teachings, with what I'm offering today, is to actually trigger that creation in a way that we feel a little more guiding of it, a little more intentional of it. So it's supposed to be easy, but the input we're putting is supposed to be a little more gentle, a little more focused, and then just let it be.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's there's also something there that I love where it's basically almost like it becomes a lifestyle of commitment to this vision, to this calling, to this intuitive nudging that keeps coming, and you just commit to it and you keep going with it and you keep going with it. And I guess that it's the action that builds it each time, right? Taking the action and then the door opening and taking the next action.
And I love what you said, a lifestyle of commitment. And what is really that commitment? To me, it was being most that I can be of myself. It was just such an incredibly powerful calling to be more of myself. To me, that is the greatest service to the divine. Right. So it's really a commitment to being more of myself, a commitment to serving the divine in the best possible way I can. To me, there is no greater commitment, right? And whenever I work with a new client who comes to me with a certain stage cancer, most clients come to me with stage 4 cancer because I also do a lot of work with healing the physical body. That's always my question. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to live? Why? Because if we know your why, the rest is just being so clearly aware. The rest becomes a commitment to that why. And my why was just that personal, absolute devotion to being the greatest, to being, and being the greatest is not for me winning. Being the greatest is so that the divine can express in the greatest possible way.
Yeah, the greatest creation, is the greatest creation that you can bring forth, right, in your potential.
That's it. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's really important, because I think if we can tap down, that's almost the foundational root. If we can tap through all the mind, anything that's telling us we want to be successful, all the mind work that we go through, if we can tap down into that place of no matter what the outcome looks like, provided I'm standing in this place of pure devotion to this divine energy flowing through me, I'm walking in purpose, right?
Yeah. Yes. And that feeling is incredibly empowering. And here's what is so extraordinary. So I started this purpose journey when I was an attorney with a lot of fear around money. And what I realized along the way is what I had to change as a perception is not only do I get to be paid for my gifts and talents, not only that, but also the understanding that the being supported becomes automatic because I'm choosing to be on the side of being my greatest self. And my greatest self, that love, that commitment, is of course loving and committing to me as well.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Right.
So,
in other words, as I'm committed to the mission is committed to me as well. And so it's never been anything other than it's easy. It's easy. Of course it's easy.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So there's a lot of mindset work that you've spoken about there, but it's also like having that grounded in your heart. It's this heart-mind connection where your heart is so grounded in devotion that I guess you can call your mind out when you need to call your mind out, right? From a heart space.
Well said. I really love what you just said because I really love listening to people who have expanded their minds, who have worked on stepping out of the conventional way of thinking that most of us has. Right, in terms of purpose and prosperity and abundance, I was definitely there as well. And so I love listening to people who have worked on their minds and have been daring enough to expand the box and to step out of it and to adopt new ways of thinking, because to me the real gold is listening to how they think, because then to me that's a trail of, oh, I can pick up this nugget and I can adopt this nugget and I can do this. So I sincerely hope that people are also listening not only to what I'm saying, but also to the energy and to, as you're listening to me, the downloads that you're receiving from your soul, because your soul will cross connect and gold will be delivered to you, even if I said something else altogether.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's listening with all of you and coming in that soul connection. And even us, you can feel that soul connection between people. And I think that's what's so beautiful about that is many people can feel that level of alignment or feel that connection and even understand their gifts. It's just almost translating that high vibration into their 3D reality that I think sometimes is the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. What
Awesome.
was your own biggest struggle and challenge on the path of fulfilling your purpose?
I think for me, it was the scariness of how big my purpose actually is. And just that, having had that deep call inside for so long since being a young child, and just feeling in awe of what that is, and not even wanting to pick it up because it's just too much,
Yeah. And now that you're in the middle of it, living it, breathing it, teaching others, what are your thoughts on it? How have you seen it differently?
Well, yeah. So what's been really interesting for me is I've just kind of taken off a cloak of shame as such, like taken off a cloak of shame and fear. And I've put on this cloak of the earth and consciousness and cosmic connection and that feeling of being one. That's given me the sense of it's a lifestyle. It's not even a question for me anymore. It's a choice. It's not about the money. I've made my radical transition. It just is, right? Just is.
I, I love it. I love it. So beautiful. Because see, when I am so when you were really speaking about being from outside of it, but when you step in the middle of it, like you said, you're just living it, breathing it, enjoying it, doing whatever you can do, and all of a sudden it doesn't feel big at all. It just is. It's just how it is. It's just who you
It's
are.
authentic.
And yeah, I really love that. I really love and appreciate that. In other words, you totally normalized the journey, because I think of going on a journey from New York City, which is on one end of the US, to LA, which is on the other end of the US. And at first, it might seem like, oh my God, this is going to be a long drive. And yet, the moment we get driving, we're just driving, and we might as well enjoy the drive because we're driving. It's happening. And so here's what's so interesting about purpose. Purpose will be both the play, in other words, what we discover to be our purpose, whether it's art, whether it's past life regression, whether it's being an influencer, whether it's being a dentist, whether it's making the best cookies on the face of the planet. Our purpose is both going to be the place of our greatest struggle and also our greatest fulfillment. It's inevitable because it's what inspires us and moves us the most. So that's where the growth will be, right? That's where always the work will be. For everyone, whether it's a mom raising children, that's the greatest fulfillment and also the greatest struggle, right? And so for each one of us, being on purpose, that truly is the portal to greatest enlightenment and spiritual growth. Enlightenment is not about sitting and meditating in an Indian ashram for years on end. Undoubtedly, magical things will happen and we'll feel connected to the divine. I've done it. It's amazing. I love it. And yet I'm so much more challenged to be aligned every day as I sit here in my home, right? And do my work. And so truly our souls were so brilliant to put a hunger in our hearts and then let us loose into this life, because that hunger is always going to bring us into more and then figuring out more and doing more. And to me, that's an amazing adventure.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It really is. Right? It really is. Yeah. Beautiful. Sure. Thank you, Mira. That's just, I feel like we've just journeyed so far in the last 20 minutes. I just feel like we've covered so much. It's so beautiful and so real, so real. And also I love how you're bringing this level of simplicity without denying the complexity and the struggle that comes with it, because you got to step through that door, and you've got to, like, for you it started with physical ailment. You have to step through that door of your suffering or of the things that you're facing, right?
Thank you,
There's no
thank you,
other
thank
way.
you. I do teach. Oh, yeah, I really do teach a lot on this. That's why I created a 21-day program on purpose, because there's so much. And at the same time, it's really only one thing. Keep going. Just keep going, and
Absolutely.
figure it out as you go. Everything is figure outable. Yeah. And so, if I may, I want to offer something along the lines that you just spoke of in terms of complexity and simplicity. When we bring it down to the single moment, we can really trust our purpose even more, because our soul is guiding us on a moment-to-moment basis. Yes, we have a potential blueprints. I'm going to say it in plural. That was not singular. That was plural, potential blueprints. But also our soul is there with us on a moment-to-moment basis. And that guidance comes through impulses, instincts, and so many of us don't trust our impulses, right? We're always thinking, oh, this is a bad thing. Me having more and asking for more and doing more, I need to shut it down. I shouldn't be greedy. I should feel ashamed of myself. Who am I to be doing this? Who am I to be offering this? Oh no, I should hide. I have nothing important to say. They will hurt me if I'm outspoken. You have no idea how many people I work with who in past lives have been witches and come to me and say, if I speak up about what I want, I'm terrified it will be the death of me, right? And so of course we clear that and liberate their voice, but it's always that voice within that says, no, don't. But the initial impulse was, yes, go for it. Yes, go for it, right? And so we have such a habit of shutting down those moments of impulses and instincts. And yet that's exactly how our soul talks to us. And the guidance sometimes is as simple as go talk to Mary, because talking to Mary will actually open up something that you didn't even think possible. But we're thinking, oh, no, I should be at my desk working. No. And so the teaching that I want to offer to all of us here is, on a moment-to-moment basis, always ask yourself, what is the most fulfilling? What is the most interesting? What is the most exciting thing I can do right now? And I don't mean excitement in terms of Christmas morning where kids are just bouncing from a wall to a wall of, oh my God, we get to open presents. I mean that feeling that is in alignment with who it just feels like, right. It feels like, oh, this feels settled. It feels so good. It's a yes, right? That feeling of, because that is the feeling of us tapping into the frequency of our soul, us being our greatest self, being in alignment with ourselves. So on a moment-to-moment basis, just ask yourself, what is it that I can do right now that is fulfilling, that is meaningful, that is exciting, that really sparks me, that is a clear yes? And sometimes it could be go for a walk, have a cup of tea. And so the choice could be, should I answer these emails, or should I just take a breather and stretch a little, right? It could be as simple as that. Or should I send this email, or should I do this other thing? And so in those moments, always go with what is the guidance, and do it to the best of your abilities, and do it without expecting of, but how is that going to get me out of being a lawyer,
absolutely.
right? How is that going to get me to the dream?
Don't go into the mind.
Don't go into, but because that's how we actually sabotage the guidance. That's exactly how we actually stop the flow of things and could get controlling. And life wants to give to us, and it's like, but let me do it easier for you. And we're like, no, I'm used to hard. It needs to be hard. I need to earn it. I need to cry. I need to struggle. And then maybe I'll let it be easy. And so those moments of guidance are extremely important. And please understand, even though it sounds simple, that's really where the truth is at. Do what excites you and really go for it. And obviously be reasonable enough. Reasonable is the wrong word. Be emotionally intelligent enough to say, am I really avoiding this because I don't want to do it? Right?
Of course.
Or is it because it's not exciting? Right? Am I delaying replying to this email and sending this message because, oh God, I've already been putting it off for a month, and they'll think I'm a horrible person and I don't want to deal with any, right? Just have enough emotional intelligence so that you are not going against yourself. But everything else, life is supposed to get you where you are supposed to go. It's supposed to be
Absolutely.
easy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's so much of it, just sitting in that type of foundation, that soul foundation, ease, flow, grace, abundance.
And
It's beautiful.
that's how more and more of our purpose reveals itself. If all those years ago somebody had told me, Mira, one day this is what your life is going to be, and this is how you will serve people, and this is the lifestyle you will live, and this is what you'll do on a daily basis, I would have been like, no way, no way, it's too big, no way, I don't have what it takes. Oh my God, way too much responsibility for way too many people, right? I would have been like, I cannot do it. And yet little by little, step by step, that journey from New York City to LA, and it's mind-blowingly satisfying and fulfilling living my life. Do I have challenges? Of course, but I get that that's growth. I get that that's me becoming more of me, right? And that me becoming more of me is never set in stone. It's never set in stone, right? I always get to choose, because can I right now check out of life and say, this is good enough, I can just live in a small town somewhere, I can just live a little life, I don't need to do what I'm doing right now, it'll be okay. Nobody, God is not going to send bolts from the sky and say you're being wrong and bad.
Absolutely.
They're still learning in that from my soul. But the people I can impact in this incarnation, the difference I can make right now, the doors I can open for people, the healing, the physical, the emotional healing that I can deliver for people in this life, in this moment, I could never replicate that, right? In another lifetime.
No.
And so it really becomes a moment of, well, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going.
And sometimes that's what just forces you to trust, because you it's like, well, you can't stop now. So you actually just, it's like you push through that door, and you just start to trust, and it's beautiful. So yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. I feel like you've just given us so much nourishing food, and I know many people on my list, and I know people who will be tuning in will just feel so elated to have received that soul wisdom and that soul download and everything. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're most welcome. I really encourage people to just keep going forward. The call is authentic. Just keep going. And whatever is in the way, clear it, heal it, release it, let it go, and just keep trusting the wish fulfilled. Keep trusting the dream being fulfilled, because it wouldn't be put in your heart if it wasn't right for you.
Absolutely. 100%. Thank you. That's amazing.
You're
Beautiful. Yay.
Yeah.
That's an awesome place to kind of leave it, I think. And I see that you've got an incredible free gift, and I love this title. Is it spiritual to have money?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Beautiful.
Right. I had to figure that one for myself too. And so many people who come my way say, I want to be a good person, and yet still I want to be able to provide for my kids. I want to be able to buy a new pair of jeans for them when they grow up, right, as they keep growing up. And so that question of, is it spiritual to have money, is a very important question on the path of trusting our purpose and aligning with our purpose. So it's a full coaching session. It's a full coaching class. We go into a lot of clearing work. So I'm excited for the relief and the realignment of values and priorities that people will experience as they go through that coaching session with me. So all they have to do is go on my website, mirakelly.com, scroll all the way to the bottom. You'll see my smiling face. You'll see where it says that you can receive that gift, and dive in, and you will not regret it. It's really nothing but pure gold. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love it.
Yes.
Fantastic. Great. So for those who are tuning in, thanks for being with us today. And I'm going to invite you now to do 3 things. 3 is the power of manifestation. So firstly, I'm going to encourage you to continue to tune in for the full 10 days of this series. It is truly a bridge to the next level of soul embodiment for you. The second thing is to go onto Mira's website, just like she said, and go and download that incredible free gift so that you can already start to change your relationship with money from today, immediately. And lastly, if you are ready to fully step into your soul business journey, register for my masterclass, which is taking place at the end of the series. I will teach you 4 steps to creating your soul-aligned business and monetizing your soul gifts so that you can make an impact in the new earth. It is truly time for us to rise and co-create the new earth together as the soul-aligned leaders that we are. And I'm so delighted that you joined me today, Mira. Thank you so much for all of that wisdom.
Thank you. I love being with you.